Hey, good evening, everyone. Wanted to jump on real quick this evening. I had been spending some time not doing a few of the things that I had intended to do, and instead watching one of my favorite contemporary jazz saxophone players. And he has a great, I had posted this, I had forgotten that I posted this actually a while ago to our Systems Academy Discord group. And so I wanted to share this with you and just talk about the practice methods and why system design and specifically approaching system research in specific ways is very similar, has a very similar process to studying and preparing for music performance. So let me just share this. We'll watch about a minute of this and then we'll just discuss it real quick. Oh, no sound, huh? Let me see. Let me see. Do I need to add? Let me see. This should be playing sound. It is odd. Very, very odd. Let me just see if there is. Oh, I got it. Apologies. I'm going to share. All right, I'm gonna have to do this in Chrome. All right, apologies, 1 second. Chrome is particular about deals with sound. So 1 second. Okay. So I have to share a Chrome tab here. All right. Let's give this a shot again. Let me know if this works. All right. I'm not going to be able to do any better as far as formatting, but let's see.
Get from doing it this way is like 10x, 20x.
Sound now? How are we doing?
Something that I hear pretty frequently from students, adult students, not students in music college. That's kind of a different thing, but they want to feel good on their instrument. They want to be strong. They'd like to continue developing, but they feel that they don't have the time to really make progress sort of at the craft and also learn the music for next week's church service, next Saturday's wedding band gig, next month's saxophone quartet recital, things of this nature. I too have that same dilemma. At the end of this week, I have Snarky Puppy. I got to really refresh that material before the weekend. I've got a lot of different projects I'm involved in, a lot of things that I want to accomplish, like just getting better at the horn, getting better at playing, students, I'm teaching the same kind of thing, a lot of stuff. This week, I've got a gig with a great guitar player, Andrew Renfro. Monday with Hadrian Farad. Both with their own books of music, and a lot of it is pretty, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of notes, there's a lot of pages, there's a lot of things to be responsible for. There's a lot. it's not just the notes on the page, like getting the music, getting the phrasing, getting the challenges that the actual written music presents, right? But then a lot of these things, there's chord changes, there's like dealing with improvising over them too. So what do you do, or what can you do? I'll tell you what I do. I treat these things like I use the material at hand as the practice environment. So instead of saying, okay, today I need to do the whole saxophone power hour warm up routine for 1 hour, or I'm going to work on, X, Y, or Z for 25 minutes, and then I'm going to get to the music. Often what I'll do when I'm strapped for time is I just go straight into I go straight into the music itself, and I let that guide my practicing. I hope this microphone is on. Let's just take it's not simple, but let's take a small moment here. Check this out. This measure right here, that can be enough. Literally, I just put repeats around this. Nice, and I kind of start sort of medium and then get slower. And I really analyze every note to note transition. How smooth are these? How am I executing them? Should that be a bis B flat and a side C? Does that make the most sense? I don't need to spend a ton of time on it, but some intentional time just really focused on this one measure. I'm going measure by measure.
Okay, so this is the idea. The intentional time on something which is a very small portion of the larger context that you need to be accountable for, and which you can use to understand the rest of that context. So this is the reason why system design is so valuable. And so I was watching this and thinking about the reason why students, who I've worked with developing systems, why they have disproportionate success in actually being able to trade the system, but also in being able to integrate the larger context in which their signals exist. And this is because of the rigorous nature of the research process. So it all comes back to, and we'll watch another short clip of this in a minute, but repetition and intentional time. So, Bob Reynolds just talked about the intentional time he spends with that one measure. That one measure is a microcosm of the entire piece, right? You can't separate that. I mean, you can practice it in isolation in the same way that you would collect data on reversal and follow through, or big bar breakouts, or 3-bar micro channels, or fill in the blank. Whatever your signal is, however you're developing your system, right? That is the measure that you're choosing, or the phrase that you're choosing to practice over and over and over. But that phrase exists in context, and it's the context that's the thing which is informing how you understand and how you hear and how other people will hear, like, and how you behave and how you respond to the information the market's giving you. So the reason why this approach is so disproportionately beneficial when studying markets and studying price actions and developing price action systems is because once you've developed your system, once you really, really understand your signal, once you've done 200 signals, studied 200 signals, 300 signals, once you've optimized your system, once you really know the variability of entry opportunities and exits, and the expectations for different parts of the market cycle, and not just your signal in different parts of the market cycle, but once you understand your signal, you can calibrate your expectations for the way the market cycle will develop, because you've seen how your signal appears within that phase of the market cycle. For example, if you have a reversal and follow through signal in a bull channel, and so reversal and follow through for trend resumption, what is the expectation for that? Right? It's if it's in a bull channel, say in leg 3, your expectation is that you're probably going to get a retest of that leg extreme, but you're not going to start a new, a new stronger phase of the market cycle and reset the market cycle and start a new and stronger bull spike and restart the entire market cycle again. So the reversal and follow through at that point has different calibrated expectations. So you probably would have different entry opportunities if that is your signal, or you would have fade opportunities. And so you would have all of these, themes and variations that are in play, and which you have fully integrated into the way that you respond to your system because of the insight you get from the system development process. It is the same as studying this, single phrase on a larger sheet of music, but by studying that phrase, you are implicitly accounting for all of the themes and variations across the rest of the piece. So let's take a look at the last part of this. It's let me go over to
New York homeowners, if your roof is leaking,
Sorry,
damaged,
one
or even if it's just old, you can save anywhere from 5.
goodness. All right.
Let's find this.
There we go.
So then I will just practice that over and over and over and over again in real time, and then I'll do it kind of like half time for me on the sax, like boo ba be do dee da da be da. So I have to treat the music as the warm up, as the technique shed, as the everything. It's the whole enchilada. I'm serious about the repetition, like so much repetition. That's the thing. That's the secret. If there's a secret, it's the repetition.
All right, so that's really it. That's the point. We find the way to get the repetition. With the system design process, you are getting the repetition. You're doing the same, you're collecting the same data for the same signal, but across all of these different variations in the way it appears, until you reach that critical mass where you've collected enough data that you can generalize signal performance across a variety of scenarios. And obviously we know that markets have fat tails, and that the low probability events happen more frequently, and we accept that and understand that that's the case. But the elegant experience is that through that signal study, you also internalize market cycles, you internalize day structure, because you're always accounting for it in your process. You're never looking at your signals in isolation. And so very similar to Bob and his approach to practice, especially in under time constraints, we achieve the same result, which is a comprehensive and holistic understanding of not just our signal, but how its place, how it exists in the larger market context, to the point where at some point you don't need the system anymore, or you don't consciously think about the system, right? You trade the market cycle. And there are multiple systems in play because all of these have calibrated themselves against each other, which is why the second system comes much faster than the first. In part of that is because you're more familiar with the system design process, but arguably more of it actually is the result of having already thought deeply, very, very deeply, and like Bob said, intentionally about all of the rest of the market cycle when you did that first study. So you're not restarting that process. You're starting from a much more sophisticated and nuanced understanding of every other part of the market cycle, every other part of the chart that you weren't consciously developing a system for, but which you were thinking about in order to understand the system you were building. So when you then refocus your energy, you're starting from a place way down the road, right? You're not starting back at the beginning of the beginning of the track. So this is the elegant process of intentional and focused system design and market research. So I hope this helps. I hope for anyone who had questions about why develop systems this way, the value of systems. This is one of my favorites. One of my favorite reasons for doing it, and then the practice part. Once you've been developing your system, sitting in market replay, and I like NinjaTrader, and I'll choose 3 days a week. Say I'm going to work on X, Y, and Z in NinjaTrader, and only do that. And often I don't have a lot of time, so I'll do it on the 100-second chart, and I'll replay 2 hours on the 100-second chart so that I get enough of an opportunity to practice that thing that I want to rehearse. And then, like Bob was saying, then that practice is done. And trading is a physical exercise. You have to be comfortable doing the thing that you need to do. And so, getting that muscle memory in is part of the practice. And so I like doing it that way. I can do 2 hours on the 100-second chart relatively quickly. And I find that that's a great way of reinforcing the research and study process that I do when building the system itself. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. I'm happy to answer them. And if not, if questions come up later, you all are welcome to drop them in the comments below the video, and we'll follow up with you there. All right. Have a great night. I'm glad the audio worked eventually. Good night. Talk to you all later.